What? Yeah, you said it. It's a mistake. It's a giant mistake because because what's good is good, and that's okay. It can always be better, but it's good. But what you need to work on very often is what is not good, and you can't
Mhm.
work on what is not good if you don't recognize it and admit it. And okay, here's the example. Imagine you're fitness training and you've got, good upper body strength but bad lower body strength. If you just focus on your upper body, your lower body will become weaker and you will become imbalanced and you'll have problems, right?
Mhm.
That's it. So, um, did all parts or areas sort of have to improve in conjunction with each other. If you put a better processor into a computer, you need to put a better graphics card into the computer, right? Because what good is the better processor if your graphics stay at the same quality, right? It doesn't make much sense. Yeah, to have you talked earlier about balance, right?
Mhm.
Balance is important. Balance is understanding that we not only need to make what is good better, but we need to make what is bad good.
Mhm.
And ignoring the complaints, look, you're at the core of a real, true company. Your employees are your customers at the core.
Mhm.
Because if you don't keep your employees happy, your customers won't be happy.
Mhm.
They won't at the end of the day because less leads to less, more leads to more, negativity leads to more negativity, and it's you see all these books out about motivation and positivity and optimism and happiness, and these things matter, but they don't matter as much as the truth. Positivity,
Mhm.
optimism, and happiness are key, but they're not as key as the truth. Because if
Mhm.
you're in a car traveling 100 miles per hour towards a wall, you can be as positive and optimistic and as happy as you want to be. Yeah? But the moment that car hits the wall, it's over.
Mhm.
And, and
Yeah.
so and so that's what people miss in all those elements of coaching and all those elements of personal development. It's like but you need to be happy when doing it, yes, but you need to be honest because you won't find happiness. You won't find real happiness unless you're really honest. So so they miss that, and the companies make that mistake as well. It's like, well, let's focus on the positive elements and keep moving forward. Yeah, but guys, we need to be honest as well.
Mhm.
It's it and honesty will take us further because honesty is is a domino effect. Again, honesty is vulnerability. Vulnerability
Mhm.
is openness, and openness builds trust. It's a domino effect.
Mhm.
Yeah, unless we're honest about problems that we have, we can't build any trust. And it's the same problem that people have in relationships, where we've all got things that we're good at and things that we're bad at. And if we only present to our friends and our partners the things that we're good at, then we won't have as good a relationship as if we also present to people the things that we're bad at. Because these are the things we need help with. These are the things that we need understanding with. Yeah? We don't need people to understand how wonderful we are. We need people to understand where we need help. And we can't get that in any relationship between companies or between people if we don't start with with honesty as part of that process, because at the end of the day, that will lead to vulnerability, which leads to openness, which leads to trust. And trust comes when this person is prepared to share with me signs or information that they're not perfect. That's how we build trust. When the person in the company says, look, we've got problems with this element of production, but we're working on it, right? Not when they say, oh, look, everything is perfect here. Look how wonderful we are. Look how wonderful these things are. Okay, it's bad, it needs to be better, or okay, it's good, it can still be great. There's room for improvement in everything. We can work on it. It's a work in progress. Yeah, everything is a work in progress. So, we need to have that approach, and these surveys where people survey their company and they pick out only the positive elements. It's that's selection of specific sets of data, which is manipulation, it's a downward spiral, because we don't understand why people are not happy, because look at this information, they're really positive about this. We don't understand. Maybe they're just stupid. It's like, no, you're ignoring the truth of the matter, which is no one is happy living under a hammer. No one is happy living under a hammer. We're in this present economic climate. We're all being hammered like that giant communist hammer on the Russian flag, right? We're all being shaped and forced to do things that we don't like, and it's really. It's not going to have a positive end. And let me point out something extreme here. When peaceful solutions are not possible, when I cannot sit down with you at a table and you can present your sets of information and data, and I can present my sets of information and data, and we can try to communicate and persuade and discuss and negotiate. When that is not possible, the only alternative is conflict. The only alternative is conflict. When the people say to the government, we don't like these policies. We don't like what you're doing here. We don't. These rules are not very practical, not very logical, and they don't seem to follow the sets of data and information. And you lied in the past, and we don't trust you again. When the voice of the people is no longer heard, the end point of that is just violent revolution. And it's not something that anybody wants, but when you are put in the corner, the only way out is to fight, right? Like the boxer in the ring, and that's not a good. We don't have to go there. We can avoid that. We can find a way out. We don't have to end up in that position, but it requires being honest. It requires being open. It requires dealing with the facts. It requires dealing with the problems. It requires getting messages out to people. It requires meeting people, because, oh my God, what happens if you get to a table with a group of other people and you sit down at the table and you say, guys, this is crazy. I'm really not happy about this. And everyone looks at each other and they go like, yeah, well, we agree with you. Nobody's happy. It's all crazy. And you all suddenly realize together that everything is mad, right? Because that's what's going to happen. Right? In a sane world, that's what's going to happen. People are going to get together and go, this is all stupid. I think we can, safely, if we're under the age of 50 and we're active and we're healthy, we don't need to wear a mask, right? We definitely don't need to put it on our kids, right? Um, we don't need to sanitize everything a billion times because that will actually make us more sick than healthy, right? It's yeah, there's the the only way forward is through understanding and communication. So yeah, it interests me, this idea of let me just take a step back to headhunters, right? Headhunt. I I have been headhunted in the past. I'm not boasting. It was very strange. People came to me and said, "We want you to work for us." I was like, "What?" You know what my first thing was? My first question to them was, "Do you know me?" That was my first question. "Do you know me? Do you really know me? Do you know who I am? Do you care? Do you know what interests me? Do you know what I like?" And here you come and say you want me to work for you. You don't know me. I don't know you. And your first question is, do you want me to you want me to work for you? I'm like, look, I'm really respectful of the offer, but to be honest, it's really stupid because it's no different from the Instagram messages that I get every day saying, "I love your work. Why don't you visit my page?" I don't. Uh, it's no different. It's no different from that. And it's look. It's nice when people respect your work, but headhunting is not the way forward, because if someone is going to headhunt you to get you for their company, you know what else they're going to do? They're going to headhunt somebody else to replace you when they're not happy with you. What a huge risk to take. What a huge risk to take to accept the offer from a headhunter. Because if they're headhunting you to work for somebody else, for them or for somebody else, then they will headhunt somebody else to replace you if they don't like you. That's such a dangerous road to go down. Maybe it will work out okay for some people, but it's a huge risk, and there's better ways to do it rather than the headhunting approach. Putting putting out what's called feelers. Putting out information for people to see if maybe people are interested in doing something or whatever, and then going through a slow sort of gradual process. And here's another problem. If you will leave one company and follow a headhunter to another company, your first company is not going to be very happy. That being said, I think if you do something and you're not all into what you do, you won't be that successful, right? So, if you're playing in a football game and you give 60% of your energy or 70% of your energy, which might be enough, might not, but it's still never as good as you could do. And depending upon the game and the time and the place, sometimes you've got to give at least 100% to make things work. It's a question for everybody as well. What is 100%, because you don't want to burn out at the same time. But